Match point. One shot separates a champion from a heartbreak. Somewhere in Washington, a crowd is holding its breath, and neither woman on that court has any idea yet how this story ends. Rewind 7 days, and almost nobody outside the tennis world could have predicted this final. Because when the draw for this tournament first came out, players and analysts alike called it brutal. A field stacked with Grand Slam champions, Olympic medalists, and former world number ones, crammed into a single bracket in the American capital. Survive that field, people said, and you deserve whatever trophy waited at the end of it. One woman was expected to survive it. The other was not. And that gap between expectation and reality is exactly where this story lives. This is the Mubadala DC Open, and today, on the hard courts of the William H.G. Fitzgerald Tennis Center, two completely different journeys are about to collide. Late summer in the American capital. The heat presses down on the stadium court, the stands are filling, and somewhere in the locker rooms, two very different mindsets are settling in. One is trying to stay calm. The other is trying to stay hungry. Neither of them arrived here by accident. Every match this week has been a filter, stripping away the pretenders and leaving only the players tough enough, sharp enough, and hungry enough to still be standing on finals day. What's left is exactly what a final should be, two completely earned paths, about to collide under the same afternoon sun. In one corner, a battle-tested veteran, ranked third in the world, chasing a title on the very court where her career first caught fire. In the other, a 21-year-old from the Philippines who, just 7 days ago, was not even considered one of the tournament favorites. Nobody saw this coming. And that's exactly what makes it unmissable. Let's start with the resume that got Jessica Pegula here, because it is nothing short of relentless. This season alone, Pegula has already reached 4 finals. 38 match wins. A player who, by every measure, has quietly become one of the most consistent forces on the entire tour. But consistency is a strange kind of pressure. It means everyone expects you to win. It means every draw, every match, every service game becomes another test of whether the standard holds. There's a particular kind of weight that comes with being the steady one. The player everyone assumes will figure it out, round after round, tournament after tournament, without the drama, without the storylines. It's not a glamorous role. It's a grinding one. And this week, more than once, it nearly cracked. And in Washington this week, that standard was tested immediately. In her very first match, against Magdalena Frech, Pegula dropped the opening set. A rocky start for a top seed, the kind of stumble that makes commentators start asking uncomfortable questions. But here's what elite players do that separates them from everyone else. They don't panic. They adjust. Pegula regrouped, tightened her game, and closed it out in straight sets from there. Round after round, she kept building. A win over Anna Kalinskaya. Momentum growing. Each match sharper than the last, each performance quietly answering the question every top seed has to answer at some point in a tournament. Can you actually finish what you started? Then came the semi-final. And this is where the story nearly took a very different turn. Facing 4th seed Diana Schneider, Pegula found herself down 5-2 in the very first set. 2 games from losing the set outright. This was the moment where a lesser competitor starts to unravel. Instead, something shifted. Pegula won 5 straight games. Stole the set 7-5. Never let Schneider back into it again, closing out 7-5, 6-4 in under 90 minutes. That comeback is the story people will remember, because it tells you exactly what kind of opponent is waiting on the other side of the net today. Not a favorite coasting to a final. A fighter who has already proven, this week, that she does not know how to quit. And there's a deeper layer to why that win mattered so much. This tournament, this exact stadium, is where Pegula's career-defining breakthrough happened years ago. Her very first title on tour came right here in Washington. Coming back to that same court, fighting through adversity to get 1 win away from a second trophy in the same city, is the kind of full-circle moment broadcasters dream about. She said as much herself afterward, describing this event as something that once lifted a weight off her shoulders entirely. Now she's 1 win away from doing it again. Let's talk about the other player in this final. Because if Pegula's week has been about proving her consistency, Alex Eala's week has been about rewriting what's possible. 7 days ago, Eala walked into this tournament as a promising 21-year-old with talent but no signature win to her name at this level. Today, she walks out as a finalist who has beaten 4 of the most dangerous players on the entire tour, back to back to back to back, without dropping a set to a single one of them. Let that sink in for a second. Think about what that actually requires. Not one big win. Not a single career-defining upset that you can point to and say, that was the moment. 4 of them. Stacked one after another, each one harder than the last, each one a chance for the run to end and the story to quietly fade back into the background of a tournament everyone else remembers for someone else's title. It never faded. It only got louder. It started with defending champion Leylah Fernandez. Gone. Then Alina Svitolina, an Olympic medalist and one of the most experienced competitors in the sport. Gone. Then Qinwen Zheng, a former top 10 player with the kind of power that ends most matches early. Gone. And then in the semi-final, the biggest name of them all, Naomi Osaka. A 4-time Grand Slam champion. A former world number 1. The kind of opponent who has ended careers of players twice Eala's experience. Eala didn't just beat her. She dominated her. 6-4, 6-2. Osaka finished that match with 34 unforced errors. Eala finished it with 18. Watch the match back and there's a moment early in that first set where Osaka claws ahead, 4 games to 3, and it looks, for just a few minutes, like the run might finally be catching up with the 21-year-old. Instead, Eala reeled off 3 straight games to close the set, racing out to commanding leads in each one. No hesitation. No sign of nerves. Just a player who had already decided, somewhere in her head, that this was not going to be the match where the story stopped. This wasn't luck. This wasn't a hot week that's about to run cold. This was a 21-year-old systematically dismantling the best players tennis has to offer, one after another, on the biggest stage of her career. And with that win, Eala didn't just book a final. She made history. This is her first WTA 500 final. Her first final on a hard court. And she is now the first Filipino player ever to reach this stage in a tournament of this level. Back home in the Philippines, this isn't just a tennis match anymore. It's a national moment. A country that has waited generations for a tennis star of this magnitude is watching a 21-year-old climb toward a career-high world ranking in real time, with a chance to climb even higher if she can finish the job today. That's the thing about breakthrough runs like this one. They don't just change a ranking. They change what an entire nation believes is possible for the next kid who picks up a racket. And yet, for all the noise around the run, the player at the center of it has stayed strikingly grounded. After beating Osaka, she talked about staying locked in, about refusing to let herself believe the week was already a success story. That mindset, more than any single shot in her arsenal, might be the most dangerous thing she brings into today's final. So here's where the story gets even more interesting. Because these 2 women have actually stood across the net from each other before. And it did not end well for Eala. Rewind to the spring of last year. The Miami Open. A semi-final that nobody expected to be close. Eala, still finding her footing on the biggest stages, pushed Pegula to 3 grueling sets. She had her chances. She created break point after break point against Pegula's serve, forcing the veteran to fight for every single hold. But when the match tightened in the decider, experience won out. Pegula closed it out and moved on. At the time, it read like exactly what it was. A gutsy performance from a rising talent against a far more established opponent. A loss, but the kind of loss that tends to matter more than most wins. The kind that teaches you something you can't learn any other way. What's changed since that day in Miami is everything. Back then, Eala was still a developmental talent hoping to prove she belonged in these conversations. Today, she's a top 25 caliber competitor with a deeper physical base, sharper decision-making under pressure, and a proven ability to close out matches that once might have slipped away in the closing stages. Pegula knows that better than anyone watching from the outside. She's the one who has to walk out and face it. That loss could have been forgotten. A promising young player, a respectable defeat, nothing more. Except it wasn't nothing. It became fuel. Because the Eala who walks onto that court today is not the same player who left Miami with a loss on her record. She has grown. She has matured. She has learned how to close out the matches that once slipped away. And Pegula knows it. In the lead up to this final, Pegula herself admitted she expects a battle, calling Eala the future of the sport and someone who has already arrived. So what actually happens when these two collide? Let's break down the chess match, because the contrast in styles here is what makes this must-watch tennis. This isn't a matchup of power versus power, or defense versus defense. It's a matchup of philosophies. One player wants to make the court feel small, predictable, controlled. The other wants to make it feel unpredictable, uncomfortable, alive. Think of it as geometry against improvisation. One competitor drawing straight, punishing lines from corner to corner. The other constantly redrawing the map, changing spin, changing height, changing pace, daring her opponent to solve a puzzle that keeps shifting shape midpoint. Pegula's game is built on precision. She strikes the ball early, flat, and with relentless accuracy, refusing to give her opponents any rhythm or recovery time. She doesn't overpower you. She outlasts you, redirecting the ball corner to corner until you're the one who breaks first. Eala brings something entirely different to the court. As a left-hander, her forehand naturally swings cross-court into her opponent's backhand, disrupting the standard patterns that right-handed players are used to facing. But it's not just the lefty angles. It's the variety. Heavy topspin one moment, a skidding slice the next, a sudden charge to the net before her opponent can reset. She keeps opponents guessing, and against a player like Pegula, who thrives on rhythm, that unpredictability could be the difference maker. Serve-wise, Eala isn't the biggest hitter on tour, and she'll be the first to admit it. What she leans on instead is deception. Slice out wide, a kicking ball into the body, placement that keeps returners guessing rather than swinging freely. In a tournament full of bigger weapons, that variety has quietly been one of her most effective ones. If Pegula gets to dictate flat, steady rallies from the baseline, she is nearly unbeatable in that exchange. So the pressure falls on Eala to break the pattern before it ever forms. Change the height. Change the pace. Force errors out of discomfort rather than power. There's also a psychological layer running underneath all of this. Pegula knows exactly what a slow start against this opponent can cost her, because she's already lived through it in Miami. She cannot afford to give this version of Eala any daylight, and she said as much heading into today, calling her opponent the future of the sport and someone who has already arrived. And Eala knows something too. She has already proven, this very week, that the names on the other side of the net don't intimidate her anymore. Grand Slam champions, Olympic medalists, defending champions. She has beaten them all in the span of 6 days. A 3-set loss from a year ago isn't going to be the thing that shakes her nerve today. Watch the return games closely once play begins. Both of these players are aggressive off the return, stepping inside the baseline whenever a second serve gives them the chance. Whoever protects their own second serve the best, whoever avoids the cheap, unforced errors in the score's tightest moments, is going to tilt this match in their favor. There's a phrase that gets used a lot in sports, and it usually feels hollow. But not today. Today, one player is defending everything she's built. The other is chasing everything she's dreamed of. For Pegula, a title here means returning to the exact court where she once broke through and won her very first career title. It's a chance to plant her flag again, right before the biggest stretch of the American summer swing, carrying that momentum straight into the North American hardcourt season and, eventually, toward the US Open on home soil. For Eala, a win doesn't just mean a trophy. It means the first WTA 500 title of her career. It means becoming a legitimate name at the very top of the sport, not a rising star anymore, but an arrived one. It means proving that this week wasn't a fluke, wasn't an emotional adrenaline rush, but a genuine new level of tennis that's here to stay. It also means something bigger than either player, bigger than the ranking points or the trophy itself. Win or lose, Eala has already given her country a moment it has never had before, a Filipino name on the biggest stage women's tennis has to offer. But make no mistake, she isn't stepping onto that court today just to be remembered for the run. She's stepping onto it to finish it. Neither player is walking onto that court today hoping for a moral victory. Both of them want the trophy. Both of them believe they deserve it. So when the first ball is struck today at the Fitzgerald Tennis Center, everything both of these women have built this week, this season, this entire career comes down to this. One match, one net, two completely different paths converging on the same afternoon. Does experience hold up against a player who has looked utterly fearless all week? Or does that fearlessness finally meet its match against a proven closer who has already beaten her once when it mattered most? Somewhere in that stadium, the crowd is about to get louder than it's been all tournament. American fans backing the top seed on home soil. And scattered throughout, a fiercely passionate contingent that has followed Eala's run match by match, turning every session she plays into something closer to a home game thousands of miles from where either of them started. Two different crowds, two different anthems of support, converging on one court for one final. Two paths, one trophy. And in a few hours, this entire story, everything both of these women have built to get here, comes down to who wants it more when the score is tightest and the pressure is highest. There's only one way to find out.